at weekend trips. Where should we go? And he was like, dude, we should go to London. Like Wimbledon's on, Silverstone F1 is on. I'm like, we're gonna go, fly to London to watch tennis. Like, I don't really care for that. And he was like, dude, trust me. We went, and like, I hate to say it, but literally life-changing experience.
The tennis fundamentals, the serve, the volley, and the smash.
This month we are doing tennis.
What better way to take advantage of the great weather than with a game of tennis?
I've no chance in the match. He's the number one in the world, and I'm playing with the metal hit.
Joe, listen to this.
What's up, Joe?
Sammy is in Vegas to go see the McGregor fight.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah,
Excellent.
I don't know if you guys saw what happened with the fight last night, but
Fill us in.
basically it was not even a minute long. McGregor has been out for 3, 4 years now due to a leg injury, and this was his huge comeback fight. Obviously the UFC's been hyping this up for forever. Everyone's excited to see the face of the UFC return. He comes in off rip, tries to throw a flying kick, lands on his leg wrong, pops something in his leg. He was fighting Max Holloway. Max Holloway got him on the ground, and Connor couldn't do anything, and the ref literally called it off within a minute. And it was the most anticlimactic thing ever.
Ouch.
But it was amazing. Like besides the actual fight, the lead up to it, the walkouts, like it was crazy. It was awesome. It was last night.
What venue in Vegas?
T-Mobile Arena.
Incredible.
So it's where the Golden Knights play, the NHL team. And then they have every time UFC's in Vegas, it's where it is.
It makes so much sense to me. The stuff we've already chatted about. A tennis fan is like a polymath sports fan, right? You mentioned F1, you mentioned soccer, you mentioned that's what like I feel like the tennis person likes the multifaceted is your soccer squad.
Right now, since the World Cup is going on, I'm a huge England fan. I love their team, love all their guys, and they're playing amazing. Yesterday was awesome. We watched the Norway England game here in Vegas. I mean, it wasn't here, but we were watching at the sports bar. So I've been following them. World Cup's been awesome.
I was watching yesterday as well at a pretty rowdy pub with both Norway and England fans. I'll burn a warm-up rally item right here, which is that Serena Williams was in attendance with hubby Alex Ohanian. Got a big round of applause when she was on the cam. Did you guys see that? So today
Thank
on
you.
Nice Point Podcast, we got Sammy. You can find him at Sammy Talks Tennis on TikTok. Sammy, any other platforms, or should we go straight there?
TikTok and Instagram.
TikTok and
Sammy Talks
Instagram.
Tennis.
We got Sammy. He's based in South Florida. He's in Vegas right now. The guy knows ball. It in all ways. We're gonna of course talk about Wimbledon. We're gonna congratulate Mr. Yannick Sinner, the six-time Slam champion, Linda Noskova, the 21-year-old. We're gonna give out our awards: the Nice Match Award, the Nice Look Award, and the MLTB HACO Award. It's a runaway in that one, but we'll hand out some nominations as well for that, just to be kind. But first, our warm-up rally. Listen, an easy way to do the warm-up rally uh, during the major tournaments is just Celebrity Row. So listen, okay, so listen to this. Sammy, tell me which of these is your favorite? You'd like to be in the box with these people. I separated the list of all proud Brits at Wimbledon, and I've got Hugh Laurie, Cynthia Erivo, Sacha Baron Cohen, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, and Damson Idris.
I would say that I would love to sit next to Andrew Garfield and Benedict Cumberbatch. Grew up a huge Marvel guy, so
Wow.
I got, Spider-Man on my right, Doctor Strange on my left. That would
Oh
be
my gosh.
amazing to just kind of to be in that world while also watching tennis next to these guys.
J- Joe, look, Sammy's got the late night Vegas vacuum cleaner back there. I got like a crazy Sunday in Brooklyn. I got like a loud music car or a motorcycle every few minutes, but we'll get through it, folks. Um, Yeah, Joe. So Sammy went and waited in the queue, which is how you can get into Wimbledon. He said they woke up middle of the night and waited all day. It changed his life. That's why he's a tennis fan today. Alternate way to get into Wimbledon. Pop yourself into a couple of Marvel movies in a starring role, Joe.
Right, that's right. So my thing about Celebrity Row watching today, so I didn't realize like they showed Dustin Hoffman a lot, Ben Stiller. They're sitting like in the royal box, like right behind like Prince William. Like I didn't realize they were like in the royal box. Thought that was interesting.
Hoffman, legendary, one of the all-time great actors. We've said his name on the show before. I think he's a legit tennis fan. Yeah, so those people get invited, the Royal Box. Somebody
Mm,
arranges that specifically and says, well, here's the Royals we have today, and here's the sort of VIPs.
mm, love it.
Joe, in the Royal Box today, I saw Anna Wintour, the head of Condé Nast, the inspiration for the character in The Devil Wears Prada, and The Devil Wears Prada 2, Miranda Priestley. She's a mega tennis fan, and she had on her left Rami Malek. I'm a little bit sell on him, but she had on her right Joe, Miss Baby Girl herself. You would have been so thrilled. Did you see that?
No. Uh-uh.
I know you love a sex psychological thriller.
That was one of my favorite movies of 2025, or was it 24? But yeah, it's a great movie. Nicole Kidman. I did see that.
Love Nicole Kidman. One of my favorite actresses for sure. Um,
I see
Joe,
this
another
dude Ben Stiller everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
guy.
couple
This
at
guy
the
like
Knicks
knows
games.
ball. You're right.
Yeah, this guy's everywhere.
Gets out to England. He can't get enough. Can't get enough viewing. You're right, Sammy. He's in that famous clip where Kyrgios kind of makes a quip at Ben Stiller and says something like, "Well, I wouldn't tell this guy how to act, would I?"
Love that clip. Classic Curious in that one.
Joe, I've got another one personal to you and I. Kesha made an appearance at Wimbledon.
Wow. Seeing her live. Were you here for that?
Yeah, you bet.
So Sammy, there's like I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. There's like an outdoor concert every summer, and one year Kesha was there, and that happened to be the year Joe was there as well. So we,
There
we
you
saw
go.
Kesha live. Yeah.
Sounds like a great night.
Joe,
I can't say that I've seen Kesha live, but I bet it was awesome.
Joe and I give all four thumbs up to the
Oh,
live Kesha show. We had a hell of a time.
I'm a big Kesha fan. Did you say you're a sell on Rami Malek? Wow.
We can discuss it later.
Man, okay.
Sammy, Priyanka Chopra was there, and she was FaceTiming her husband from the stands, kind of showing him her view from potentially the royal box, potentially just a good seat. You know who that husband was, right?
I can't say I do.
Oh wow, Joe, you have this? Priyanka Chopra's husband.
Oh, it's Nick Jonas, right?
I can't believe.
I
What
actually
a
the last concert I went to was a Jonas Brothers concert, so
What?
that's a true fact, yeah.
So because you and I were drinking as adults at a Kesha concert, I'm not quite understanding when you attended a Jonas Brothers concert as the last.
The most recent concert I've been to was a Jonas Brothers concert.
It still doesn't really make sense. Um, I guess the only other one I saw, I mean, there was a lot more than this, but Virgil van Dijk, just because it's World Cup season. So,
I saw
Sammy,
him
you said
there.
you're an
He was
England fan.
yeah, Virgil van Dijk. He threw up some, pictures on the gram. He was looking fresh. I saw he got a picture with Federer, so glad he got to, pop out. He was looking good.
Denmark out, so he gets to go check out some tennis, take a load off. He plays for Liverpool. Did you say who your like Premier League team is? Is that what you like to watch?
I don't have a, team
Free
when it
agents.
comes to that. Yeah, I like just watching good soccer. So, but England, aside from the USA, which again is a weird thing that people say as USA fans, you shouldn't be an England fan, but I like their team a lot. So that's who I've been going for.
I have two. Joe, do you have any loyalties left? I just have a lot of English friends when you live in New York. There's a lot of Brits. Joe, are you left just with any inclination here now that we're down to it?
So I'm pretty much the exact same. I'm definitely rooting for England here on
Look
out.
at us.
There we
Jude,
go.
Jude Bellingham, Declan, Harry Kane. Harry Kane's probably like one of my favorite players of all time for sure. I like their team a lot.
Well, we don't always get to, even in the Wimbledon episodes, but this won't be the last British success that we talk about. So stick around. Don't touch that dial. Okay, Sammy, I'm gonna let you decide. Talking about the back week here and the championships. Um, we'll start with men's or women's based on what you think. What's the bigger headline? Noskova or Sinner?
Um, Personally, I would say Sinner.
Let's let's start there. So if you say Sinner's a big headline, you must have gone in with your doubts like anybody else then.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, after seeing what happened to him in Roland Garros, I just think it's so funny that, people are saying that his biggest enemy right now is the sun and the weather. I mean, how we've seen him break down, and I did have my doubts on him going into this tournament. Who knows, could he have, coming off of a round two loss? Obviously, at the end of the day, it is still number one Yannick Sinner, so I would say that the win isn't, unpredictable, but I did have doubts at the beginning for sure.
Listen, I'll give us the credit, even though we went ahead and picked the number one player in the world and the top seed and the favorite on the show. We picked him as our winner, and I'll give it to us because we don't always get it, do we, Joe? So I'm happy to
No.
take it.
Hey, we'll take that. Just pick chalk.
And you know what? It was the one versus the two. So again, it seems on paper like no surprise. Sammy, were you surprised? At what point were you not surprised that it was the one versus two? That Zverev also got.
You know what? My biggest thing for Zverev was overcoming Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinals. I'm sure you guys are aware of, his record and his head-to-head against Taylor, and always finds himself losing to him, especially in Grand Slams. So, once Zverev was playing good and managed to make it past Taylor Fritz, I was like, okay, this guy's going to be in the final. Not to discredit Arthur Ferry, and I'm sure we're going to talk about him in a minute, but, that was his semifinal matchup. I think Zverev had a pretty easy win there to go on, and play one versus two. So, again, I honestly had the same doubt with the semifinal on the other side, Djokovic versus Sinner, because of their previous match in the Australian Open semifinal. That was insane to watch, coming from Djokovic. I know he had played like a crazy quarterfinal against Felix, so going into that match, maybe his body wasn't the healthiest, but at the end of the day, still the GOAT. So you never know with him, but I thought that once Sinner got that win and then, Zverev managed to make it past Taylor Fritz, it was destined for 1v2.
Yeah, Sinner alternatively had a little bit of a pleasure cruise heading in. I've got no seeded players until Djokovic, and so Djokovic coming off five setter, Sinner off all straight sets, and except for that first round. So yeah, maybe that does make a big difference. Joseph, your Zverev thoughts?
I thought he looked great. Obviously, like coming off the win at the French, like I had no idea what he was going to look like at Wimbledon, and like thought he looked great the whole tournament. Like Sammy said, big win against Fritz. Honestly, like the match today, like just couldn't close out a break point, just couldn't win the big points. I felt like he played well, was right there with Sinner. I got some mixed feelings. Like I feel like he's right there. And I know it was only a four-set match. Obviously, didn't go five, but like I feel like Zverev was so close to winning some of those big points, just getting one break there, and like just couldn't get it done. But then like I feel like he's close, but on the other hand, like I feel like Sinner is just never gonna let that happen. Like there's still like a mile between those two. Like I don't know. I got some mixed feelings there, but I thought Zverev played really well today. I did see. I believe like we were saying Sinner's biggest enemy is the sun maybe. I think they flashed some graphic up today. It was like Sinner in matches that go over 3 hours 50 minutes. He's like 0-9. I didn't know if that was just in majors or if that's just all time or what, but
3 hours, 50
50
minutes.
minutes plus. He's 0 and 9.
15 or
Three
50?
50, I
50,
believe.
3 hours, 50
Christ.
minutes. He
So
hasn't
nearly
won a,
4.
yeah, he
Right.
hasn't won a match past that. And I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, because I was going to, because that's so funny to me because this match, this final today ended at 3 hours and
Right.
46 minutes. So I was
Jesus.
telling my buddy, I was like, Zverev, if he can just hold on for 4 more
Right.
minutes, bring it to 350, who knows what'll happen past that.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. And that's like it's like he's so close. He's right there. Like who knows how that fifth set could have gone, but yeah, it was interesting.
I can't believe 9 people have beaten Yannick Sinner in matches that have to go 4+ hours. That just sounds like so much time. Imagine I'm out there like, oh, we got to get up to 4 hours. Let me just rally. Like, okay, I took 2 minutes off. We're on to the next game. That is long as hell. Love to hear who those matches are. Send us a letter. Um, yeah, Zverev proved us wrong. I sort of introduced in the preview episode that there was 2 courses of this, which is like course A, now he has confidence coming off the French Open win, and now he's in a new plane, or course B, he's just kind of like on the French Open hangover, and we chose B, and we were totally wrong. So we tip our hats to Zverev. I got a couple texts from people today saying they found themselves rooting for Zverev, not the most popular dude, but I think people are excited to see a new elite player, and maybe that's a consistent thing and not just something kind of asterisked and fluky in the French Open. We'll see. Joe, why don't we go
Go aboard.
aboard the ferry?
Talking Arthur Ferry. Okay.
This gentleman, from Great Britain, from outside the top 100 to the semifinal, unbelievably and somewhat inexplicably. Sammy, I don't know if along the way we noticed like, oh, we should have seen this all along. Look at the backhand or something, or was it just a freak Cinderella performance?
In my opinion, I think it was a freak Cinderella
Yeah, there
performance.
we go.
I need to pull up who he fought along the way, but I mean, I know he had a crazy five setter against Dimitrov, and I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe round 3 or 4. And after that, that's when people were like, "Oh my God, look at this guy." Obviously, being from Britain, he had the whole country behind him in all of those matches, but crazy, crazy Cinderella story for sure.
Crowd factor for sure. Joe, we started to get word as soon as you put yourself in the spotlight, man. They're gonna dig up your whole life story, all your tweets, all the Instagrams you ever liked. um, Joe, did you pull some research for us on the rumored? Uh, we can just lazily call it a nepo background for Arthur Ferry.
I did a little Wikipedia research. Yeah. So plays for Britain, obviously. Born in France, Sèvres, France, I believe, and then they moved to London. Grew up in the Wimbledon neighborhood in London. So interesting. Got the wild card into Wimbledon this year. So his mother is a former pro tennis player. Father, I believe now, is currently the president of FC Lorient, which is a soccer club in like the highest league in France, Ligue 1. Yeah, so he's like the president of a huge soccer club, and I believe was a former hedge fund manager before he became president of this soccer club. So yeah, I'm sure a nice upbringing for Arthur Ferry there in the Wimbledon neighborhood. But yeah, huge tournament for him. I was not familiar with him at all before this tournament, so for me it's just yeah, total Cinderella run.
I'm gonna say that you got correct. I'm pretty sure you got the hometown wrong. That's got to be like Savre.
Several.
And what's the soccer club again?
FC Lorient.
That's got to be Laurent.
Lora- That's true. That's true. Yeah. I gotta brush up on my French, man.
Yeah, I saw that about the hedge fund dad or something on Instagram about it the other day.
Sammy's in like the Las Vegas back rooms, dude.
Yeah, so sorry about that, man. My bad.
It's like back rooms, but like all like elegant.
Yeah.
And instead of like loose chairs, there's gonna be like a slot machine, every 20 yards or
I'm in
something.
one of the ballroom halls. Had to grab a chair from about a mile down the way and walk it over here
That's
to
so
what I
funny.
thought was the most quiet corner, but I guess not.
That's hilarious. Okay, listen. We now have let me just lay this out. Sinner with five major titles to his name. That's two Australian Opens, which we used to think he was kind of the hardcore guy. Two Wimbledons for Yannick Sinner, a U.S. Open. Alcaraz with seven, two apiece, Wimbledon, French, U.S., and just the one Australian Open from this year. Um, it's pretty elite stuff.
Widening the gap even further, tournament by tournament.
Yeah, between them and the crowd. Yeah,
Yep.
if we went like yeah, so it's basically 7-5 to 1 to if you want to call Medvedev 1 if he's still a relevant player if we're putting him in the last gen or the current gen. Uh, there's so much going on. Joe, we wish we could have a quiet night with you in Des Moines. Okay, let's do the women's. Joe, Czech v Czech in the final. Um, this was the first two countries playing or the same country playing one another since the Williams sisters. If you eliminate the Williams sisters from that, you might be really digging deep, I'm sure. Uh, it was the youngest winner at 21. There's like a full-on firework going on behind me. Happy summer, everybody. And it was the youngest at 21 for Linda Noskova, winner of Wimbledon since another Czech player. I think it was Petra Kvitova. So, what do you think about Noskova, dude? Is this our a friend of ours texted 10-time major title winner? That was before the match had ended.
I'm all in on Noskova. I think she's solid. She's going to be great. And I feel like Muhova played really really well this tournament. You mentioned beat Coco in the semis, beat Naomi Osaka in the quarters, who was playing
Man,
really well. Like Muhova is like, I mean, she's like at the top of her game right now. And Noskova, I would say like won pretty easily. I know a little bit of a choke job there in the second set. I was really nervous. But I mean, credit to her for coming back and winning that third set after really giving the second set away. So, I mean, Noskova is super impressive. I was blown away.
as I said, Noskova 21, the winner of the last slam, Mira Andreeva. She is 19 only. We are seeing what I hope to be a long, very fun, competitive era of women's tennis with these characters emerging. And gosh, it could go any way every tournament. It's lit.
I do want to bring up Joe. That second set was crazy. I mean, Noskova had what, like 5 set points at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
I kept getting to, and you could tell the nerves were getting to her. And
Mm,
props to Muhova because she made the most of that. She ate off of that. She fought back and took that second set. So like you had mentioned, Muhova played very good. Proud of her in that final to especially come back from, I think it was 5 games down to two in that second
Yeah.
set to bring it to three. So ultimately, didn't get the outcome she wanted. Noskova prevailed in the third, but props to both of them. I mean, I had never really heard of Noskova prior to this. Um, and she went out there and made a name for herself and took home Wimbledon. So props to
huge.
them. That was a great final for sure.
Great call. Yeah, I mean, to take us to Muhova and Coco to go one round back. Oh, it was brutal. It was a brutal watch. I mean, it was edge of your seat, but in a different way. So, Joe, sometimes when I'm watching Sinner and Alcaraz, it's like they're both playing as good as you can imagine anyone playing. The rallies are getting extended. By the time the point's over, they're like both smiling and being like, how fucking good are we both? This is just magnificent. Everybody's high-fiving, everybody's cheering about tennis. Meanwhile, I'm watching something like Coco Muhova, or what Sammy was just describing with Muhova and Noskova, and it's a lot more nail bitey, and you're like, some of these matches are just like, geez, like, oh my God, the nerves are high, like every point just seems like the tension is you could cut it with a knife, as they say.
Definitely, and I would say that semifinal match that you mentioned with Coco and Muhova, that third set tiebreak was just insane. Like every point was just like, and they were both like making mistakes. It was like
Right.
it wasn't, yeah, it was like Coco had a really ugly double fault that her second serve was like nowhere close, and but then battled back and like saved a couple match points after that. Like
Yeah, she
didn't
did.
didn't rattle her like that. I would have been totally done after that. But like, I mean, she battled still after that. It was like that was like one of the better tie breaks I've seen in a long time.
God, the match points going back and forth, just insane. Like, so in one of the earlier rounds, one of the announcers described it really well, where she's like, you can get really down on yourself when you're like you're down a break or something, and you start to just spiral and go like, oh man, am I really going to lose this match in the fourth round? I really shouldn't have lost. And then if you get yourself out of that position and you break back or whatever it was, then your brain flips and you go, I'll probably win the whole tournament. And like just and I have experienced that playing. You know what I mean? Like just the logical extremes attacking you as you're trying to just focus and hit your goddamn backhand.
That's how thin the margins are at the highest level.
Today, Nice Point podcast is brought to you by Wikipedia. It's honestly the easiest place to go and get that quick information. And don't listen to what your fucking old teacher said back in grade school. It's just as accurate as just about anything else on the internet. So forget about that. Guys, I always go on Wikipedia, and the easiest thing I look at is when you pull up any player, and in that little right bar where it tells you like where they're born and their height and weight and their age, it shows you exactly what years they won what slam. So I can quickly count them up. I can quickly tell you the most recent one. Actually, it doesn't. It actually let me revise. It actually tells you their best result in every slam. So I can quickly, if I'm about to lay down a bet on so and so, I go and I go, wait a minute. They have actually not been past the fourth round at Wimbledon. So they've got all four major titles listed there and their best result. And if they've won it multiple times, you get those listed up. So I think that's really helpful. Thank you for listening. Send this podcast to other people is our favorite thing that you can do. They want to know that you're a classy, intellectual type of person that expands your boundaries and listens to new sports media, and they want to be like you. So send it to them. We're on TikTok. We're on Substack. Go on Instagram and TikTok and check out Sammy Talks Tennis. This guy's very professional, very straight to camera, like he's going to be on television someday, and he's our guest today. So if he ever makes it out of Vegas. Next week, we're actually going to take a break after this Wimbledon push, and we'll have an episode 2 Mondays from now. So I hope you guys enjoyed thus far. I think it's time. I think it's gosh darn time we give out some awards, and I hope you guys have some nominees. Joe, why don't we start? I'm just starting it off. Joe, do you have nominees for the Nice Look Award this year in the Wimbledon Whites?
It's a little tough because everyone kind of looks the same with all the white outfits, but I've got two
The
nominees.
parameters, I feel like, only make the victory stronger. How do you stand out in a sea of white? A question Joe asks in Des Moines, Iowa every day.
Oh man! So my first nominee, I saw you posted a picture, a video of her on the Nice Point Instagram page, Marta Kostick.
Wow.
Yes, I'm glad we are all on the same page here.
Sammy's pumping his fist.
Yeah, right on. She had like I'm gonna call it a single piece tennis dress, like a tank top with like I'm gonna call it a flowing skirt. Obviously, I'm not a fashion mogul, but I thought it was a nice look. It's hard to like you said, hard to look out, let her stand out. When you're forced to wear all white. But I thought she looked great. It's a good fit.
Sammy, you agree?
I 100% agree. That was that was my nominee. I think she looked amazing in it. Shout out to Wilson for creating that and standing out for, like Joe said, it's hard to come up with a look when in a sea of all white, but she definitely pulled that off and made it to the semis in that. So shout out to her. Shout out to Wilson for that.
Wilson times Marta Kostyuk has been a nominee before. She always looks good. Face doesn't hurt, and yeah, when you make it to the semis, that means a lot as well. This is 2 semis in a row for her. She's going to be top 10 now for a long time, I imagine, with all those points racked up. So we'll see some more Marta Kostyuk fits. Okay, let me stay on the women's because I have to nominate my guy Coco Gauff in the New Balance times Miu Miu outfit. Now, there have been high fashion brands that have come in and done the collaboration with the sports brands that they wear on the court before. I'm sure I'm wrong about this, but I haven't seen where they actually had the Miu Miu logo within the on-court outfit before. So that was really cool. That's a flex, a stunt, as they say.
I like that one. Mew Mew. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, just go on the online store, pick something up for Miu Miu. Super cool. Coco obviously has like a ton of cool photo shoots with Miu Miu in clothes that you'd wear. Well, I would say on the street, maybe on the street in Monaco, but or maybe in Vegas running around with Sammy, but yeah, high-end fashion, tennis on the court, into the semifinal herself. Joe, who's your second nominee?
So first Wimbledon champion ever with the pierced septum. I might go out and get my nose pierced tomorrow in tribute to Noskova. That's one way to
Wow.
stand out. I'm
Great
throwing
one.
that. Yeah, that's how you stand out.
Hey, she's a 21-year-old punk kid. She's gonna pierce the septum, scare mom and dad, scare the royal box, and win the whole darn thing. The rich are getting richer here with the very successful semi and champion women here, like versus giving a shout out to someone in the early rounds, but we call them like we see them here on Nice Point.
Right, right. Good fit's a good fit.
I actually have one more female nominee, and then I have a men's, and we'll see who wins. So this is just the nominee that we give out every time. Uh, this is Naomi Osaka. Per Vogue, which is run, of course, by Anna Wintour. The custom kimono-inspired gown designed by Hana Yagi that Naomi Osaka wore as she stepped onto center court at Wimbledon last week solidified it. The walk-on look is tennis's fashion response to the NBA tunnel.
It's a good way to put it.
I thought so too. They're doing good work over at Vogue. You throw on a sweater, or Taylor Fritz kind of had on like a whole like suit jacket looking thing. It feels a little crazy to put over your athletic wear, but they're pushing it further and further.
I'll say I'm a big fan of the walkouts, and I've always been. I love that part. Like I was mentioning, I was at the UFC last night. Like that's a big part of it, and I love that
Right.
they're kind of glorifying it now, and people are bringing their own taste on it. Like Naomi Osaka, Taylor Fritz, who walked out in his whole boss suit.
Sick.
I'd love for them to make that more of a thing. More players. If you guys got your sponsors, tell them to make you a cool ass outfit to walk out on, make some noise. Like I love that part of it. I hope they do it more.
To that sense, Osaka truly groundbreaking. Like kind of starting this, maybe opening up literally opening up a new runway where there wasn't one before. Fantastic. She always gets a nominee. a nomination. So Fritz actually was going to be, for even his on-court look, my other nominee as well. So again, it's all white, so what can you do? He just had some lining that went from like one shoulder all the way down the shorts. Just a couple stripes. A couple stripes can go a long way. I thought it looked really cool.
Full stripes can go a long way. Love it.
Another quarterfinalist there. Osaka, I think, as well. If I'm not confusing the timing of all the craziness at Wimbledon. Who should win this? I'm tempted by the unanimity of Marta Kostyuk.
Like that. I like that.
Do we feel comfortable there?
That's who would have my vote.
Okay. Congratulations, Marta. But I do like the Pierce Septum, but Noskova's just gonna have to settle for. She went from the MLTB HACO award preview this year on the podcast right to the Wimbledon champion. That's how you stack them up.
Which one's more valuable on the mantle?
Oh, debatable.
The sponsors are gonna come calling. Why don't we give out that MLTB HACO award? Okay. Listen, I think this is a runaway train or possibly a runaway carriage car, Joe.
So did you explain this award to Sammy?
Yeah, I sent him a note.
Okay.
You're right. I will repeat it for the first-time listeners. Thanks for coming on, guys. This is the most likely to be having a cold one award. This is awarded to not the champion of the tournament, but the player who they left Wimbledon going like, yes, awesome, that went so well. And I might have a cold one about it. I think we're gonna agree on the winner, but why don't we just in the spirit of sport throw out some other nominees? And some of these I'm kind of up in the air about, because it's hard to give this award out, because as good as the tournament went, sometimes you go, I don't know, do you feel good about it or not? Let me give you an example. Does Felix Auger-Aliassime making it into the quarterfinal and playing a hell of a match against Novak Djokovic feel good, or feel like he was close and now he's pissed? Is he having a cold one or no?
I don't think so. I think, he was in a position to win that match, and quarterfinals, I mean, for his seed and what he's done in slams, he can make it there, and he knows he can. I mean, he was in the U.S. Open semifinal last year. He makes runs in slams, so as great of an achievement as it is to make it to the quarterfinals against, the greatest player of all time, I'm sure he's got that little thing in the back of his head saying like, come on, dude, like you're made for this. You could have pulled that off. I'm going to have to go with he's not going to be having a cold one.
I think I agree.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And I would say the same about Naomi Osaka. We felt like we've been waiting for her to make this move and show that she's really all the way at the top, and she beat Arina Sabalenka, only to lose to finalist Karolina Muchova. Joe, is Osaka having a cold one? She never does unless she wins the whole darn thing, is she?
Yeah, that's true. She's pretty hard on herself. That's a good point. I don't think she's ever having a cold one unless she's hoisting the trophy. But that's a big moment to beat Sabalenka though for her.
Sure.
I feel like, yeah, that's an interesting one. I feel like this is a closer call than the Felix one. But
Interesting.
yeah, but I feel like, yeah, I think she's just so hard on herself. She's probably a little disappointed. But still, I feel like that's a big win for her, like kind of comeback here. That Sabalenka match, but I would say no, she's not having a cold one.
It's a long ass comeback. The tournaments are adding up, I gotta say. I don't think Serena Williams is having a cold one.
Yeah.
Came back, lots of fanfare, wins a set. I probably wanted to get a little bit more out of it than that. If she won one match, is she having a cold one? If she lost in the second round?
I think so.
Great
Yeah, I think
achievement.
so.
Now, I'd love to ask you guys, your take. Do you guys think Alexander Zverev is having a cold one? I personally think so, yes, because prior, I didn't even know this because, he's just so good right now on form. I just kind of assumed that, he's made runs, but he hadn't made it past round four in this tournament before. So for him to make it, even to the quarterfinals, that's the furthest he's ever made it. And to me, I didn't know that. So I was like, wow, like, okay, like we got something here. He overcame his arch nemesis, Taylor Fritz, in Grand Slams. So did that, made a final. Obviously not the, result he would have wanted. He did take the first set though. I'm sure he felt like as confident as ever after that. Coming off of a, Grand Slam win at the French, I think he would have played a lot worse had he not won the French Open in this
I
because,
agree.
he just wouldn't have that confidence of being on that stage and being able to perform. But I mean, again, I think Yannick Sinner is his arch nemesis of 2026. So I think he can enjoy this one. I mean, he made it to a final, took a set on him. I think great tournament for Zverev.
I think so too. If he's taken the long view of things, he, as high up as he is in the world of tennis, is creeping up higher. As you said, getting the slam win under his belt, extending a Wimbledon run further than he's ever got, maybe finding a little bit more comfort on that surface than ever. So, I mean, Joe, we've talked about before, like Alcaraz and Sinner, the reason they're so above everyone is they keep trying to develop their game and get better.
Yeah, and this is a good discussion. I completely agree. I just feel like after that French Open, like Zverev's playing with so much more confidence now than he was before that. Like I feel like he definitely views himself as like, there's Alcaraz and Sinner, and then there's him alone in a tier, and then everyone else. Like I feel like he views himself as like just right on the heels of Alcaraz and Sinner, and like far above the rest of the field. And I feel like he's really carrying himself with a lot of confidence now.
Thanks to I wouldn't want to not thanks to the Alcaraz injury, but thanks to Zverev sort of taking advantage of that open window in the French and then showing us that he's really still feeling that way about himself here at Wimbledon. It really makes the US Open exciting. Well, I mean, we will be eyeing down that last weekend to see where the seeds are arranged and will it be a Zverev Alcaraz semi? Will Zverev get that far? Will Alcaraz get that far? Like it adds immediate intrigue. I can't goddamn wait. We're starting a hard court season, people. We're coming back to America. Joe, what about Peter Pavel for the MLTB HACO award?
Oh man, that's a deep cut. Tell me about Peter Pavel.
Peter Pavel, the president of the Czech Republic.
Wow. Huh. That's a good one.
Noskova Muhova. He must be proud this afternoon.
Sure. Is Struff having? Is he popping a cold one? Quarterfinalist, unseeded.
Jan Leonard Struff, sure. I could see it. Give him a nomination, yeah.
I like
Nice,
that one. It's a
nice
good
German
pull.
beer.
Hey, went that far and lost to Sinner. That's about as good as you can do in the tennis world these days, right? No
Right.
shame in that. All right, shout out Struff. Joe, you want to hand this one over before we do a nice match?
So let's go into our guy Arthur Ferry, Mr. Ferry, the wild card, number 114 in the world, all the way to the semis. Whoa, what a run!
Goodness gracious.
As Sammy mentioned, knocked off Dimitrov in a 5-setter, and then Kaboli back to back. I mean, that's tough. So huge tournament for Ferry, life changing.
Enormous. So fun. We had. I thought it was the easiest one we've ever given out. I kind of already forgot about Maya Chwalinska, who went to the final in the French, but adding the hometown element of it does make it indeed the biggest favorite we've ever had.
I think Arthur Ferry might be having more than one cold one after this tournament, is how I see it. I mean, like Joe said, crazy. 114 semifinals, hometown, beat the likes of Dimitrov, Kabali. Amazing stuff from him, for sure. He
We'd
definitely
love
deserves this one.
he does. We'd love to see some of that content. We'll keep our eye on the on Arthur Ferry's social media pages or the Daily Mail English tabloids or whatever. Okay, you guys, I think there's some good nominees for the Nice Match Award, so why don't we round robin it? I think we'll have some of the same ones. Sammy, do you have a nominee to present?
I do. I'm gonna go with Felix Auger versus Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinal. Nice match, beautiful match from Novak Djokovic. I mean, 5 hours and 15 minutes. This match went the longest quarterfinal in Wimbledon history, by the way. Insane stuff. Djokovic winning this match also broke Roger Federer's all-time men's match win record at Wimbledon at
Wow, tag
107.
that on there. Holy hell.
Yep. So great stuff from the both of them. I mean, Felix showed us that he's truly the number 4 seed, played amazing. But, Djokovic is Djokovic. Competing with, I don't know Felix's age off the top of my head, 25, I think. But, Novak, almost 40 years old, taking him out at a 5 hour and 15-minute match. Truly remarkable stuff. I mean, I got to give it to him. That's my Nice Match Award, especially with those two hits of longest quarterfinal in Wimbledon history, taking Federer's record. Insane.
That's a hell of a case. I like that one a lot. Can I say it has become one of the great traditions of modern 2020s tennis, the Novak Djokovic versus current big name star epic matches, and they go either way. We had the Fonseca Djokovic battle at the French. We had Jack Draper beat Djokovic at Indian Wells, and I think that went 3 sets, which is as far as it goes at the 1000s. We've had a couple of these. We've had the Sinner Djokovic, as you mentioned earlier on the show, Sammy, go either way from the Australian to Wimbledon here. Both insane matches. We've had the Alcaraz final then, I guess, in the Australian. I mean, yeah, that's a great. Whenever you get one of those, they don't fail to entertain. So we love that one. All right, I'm just gonna throw a couple nominations in because I feel like that's a darn strong one. Joe, I'll see if you have any firepower after all after all those like accolades within one match. But I
I
mean,
do have a sleeper one. I'm interested to see if either of you guys are gonna say it, but
okay, let's see. I'm gonna throw in. I mean, it's fun to throw in sort of like a big name knockoff. So the fact that the most popular player possibly in all of tennis, Alex Ayala, beat Iga Swiatek, the reigning champion at Wimbledon. Big deal. We already mentioned that Naomi Osaka over Arena Sabalenka feels like a big deal. Joe, what direction were you gonna go with some of the nominees?
So I only have two other nominees, and we've already kind of talked about both of them. The Muhova over Coco in the semis, that third set tiebreaker going 12-10. Both of
A
them
nail
like
biter.
with some unforced errors in that final set tiebreak. Like I thought that was just like top-notch TV. I was locked in. That was like that was like most intense like tennis I've seen in this tournament, I think. And then but yeah, we already talked about that a little bit. And the other one, which we also already talked about, Muhova Noskova final, just because kind of the choke by Noskova in the second set, up 5-2, ends up losing that set, but then battles back, regroups, like plays very well in the third set, so and like in the final nonetheless. So yeah, that was my only other nominee.
Let me throw in as a nomination that we also already talked about is Ferry taking down Dimitrov. So before that, you kind of might have noticed on your bracket somewhere like who's this Arthur Ferry? But it didn't seem like a big deal yet. It was like that afternoon when all of Wimbledon seemed to tune in all of a sudden and go, who is this guy and how is he about to beat Dimitrov in 5 sets? The final one being in a 7-10 tie break. Huge. That was the Ferry moment, even though he went on to win even the next round. Did we hit the sleeper?
you did not. No.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Are you guys ready for this poll?
Can't wait.
Berrettini versus Stan Wawrinka round one.
Oh, yeah.
5 sets, 4 hours and 20 minutes. Stan Wawrinka is the last Wimbledon match ever Berrettini took him out. Second set, that tiebreak went 18. Berrettini won it 18-16, I believe. Over
Man.
30 points in a tiebreak. Four tiebreaks in this 5-setter, by the way. Just insane stuff. That's my sleeper. I mean, I've never, like, when a tiebreak goes that high, 18-16, these guys are both locked in, going literally point for point. Insane stuff. That's my sleeper match.
That's a
That's
great
fantastic.
laydown. That's a great afternoon if you happen to be there on that day 1 or 2 of Wimbledon and you're in the crowd and that's what starts happening. That is an all-time life memory right there. I think guest Sammy went 2 for 2 on nominees with Kostyuk and the FAA Joker installment of the Joker versus Top Star series with the nice match award. I guess we could say he went 3 for 3 if he's in consensus with us on the Arthur Ferry. So I think those are our awards, and I think that's our show.
The tennis fundamentals, the serve, the volley, and the smash.
This month we are doing tennis.
What better way to take advantage of the great weather than with a game of tennis?
I've no chance in the match. He's a number 1 in the world, and I'm playing with the metal hit.